Hey programmers, welcome to a new programming tutorial series on the Future Programmer YouTube channel. In this course, you will learn all about the fundamentals of the Java programming language. We will start from the very basics of this language and move our way up to more advanced concepts in Java. There will be practice problems in each lesson and projects throughout this entire course. So if you're interested in this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And with that said, let's get started. Before we get started learning about programming in Java, you may have some questions like what is Java and what can you do with it? Well, Java is a general purpose programming language that was created back in the early 1990s. A few decades later today, billions of devices around the world run Java. As to what you can make with Java, well, many things, including mobile applications, especially those on Android. You can also handle big data and create web applications using Java. In order to write and run Java programs, we will need a code editor and a Java compiler. And while we can download them onto our local computers, we can also take advantage of an online Java development environment so that we can get into programming faster. Feel free to use any editor that you find online, though I'm going to use Replic's Java editor. And the link to this website will be posted in the description of this video. So you can click on that and it will bring you to a screen that looks something like this. Feel free to sign up so that you can save your programs in files and more. So I'm going to stay signed out since some of you may not want to create an account for this. So this is our editing environment. Notice how it says Java here. That's because Replit also supports other languages like Python and JavaScript and C++. You want to make sure that you have selected Java so that we're writing a Java program. On the left side of our screen is the editing window. Here, we already have 5 lines of code, which serves as a starting point for our programs. And after we have written our program, we want to click the Run button right here, and the output of our program will be displayed on the right side of our screen in the output window. Feel free to pause the video for a few moments and play around with the interface of our editor so that you get familiar with it. After that, we're going to get on to writing our first program in Java. One of the most basic and yet important operations that programming languages like Java can perform is displaying information. And for that, we can use Java's 2 print statements, which are system.out.println and system.out.print. Notice how the S is capitalized in both statements, and we have a dot before and after the word out. Println is spelled as PRINTLN, and we have a semicolon at the end of both lines. In your code editor, let's type in this line right here, system.out.println hello world. Right now, in our editor, we already have this as part of our starting program. So let's delete this and type it out ourselves so we can better remember this line. So we want to write system.out.println and then a pair of parentheses, inside of which we have a pair of quotation marks. Inside, we can write hello world, then an exclamation mark. Make sure to add a semicolon at the end of the line. Now we can run this program. It may take a few moments, after which you'll see the output hello world on our screen. If you do, then congratulations! You have successfully written and executed your first Java program. Now, let's take a closer look at each part of the program that we just wrote. For now, let's not worry about those 2 lines of our program, since this is defining a class called main, and this is defining a special method called main as well. We'll talk more about methods and classes later on in this course. Right now, let's just ignore those 2 lines, while knowing that they have to be present in our programs. Let's focus on line 3, which is system.out.println hello world. System.out.println is a method that allows us to print information onto the screen. Inside of this pair of parentheses, we have hello world with a set of double quotation marks around it. And that is known as a string, which is a data type in Java. We'll talk more about strings in a later lesson when we talk about data types. Right now, just know that this is a plain text that is able to be printed out onto our screen. At the end of the line, we have a semicolon, which marks the end of a statement. Right now, don't worry in the slightest if you don't understand any of the terminologies above, since we'll be learning more about each as we continue on in this course. The difference between the two print statements, system.out.println and system.out.print, is that println moves the cursor to the next line after printing out the message, while system.out.print keeps the cursor on the same line. Right now, we're using system.out.println with the ln here. If I get rid of this and run the program, you'll notice that the red triangle here is on the same line as hello world. That is because after this exclamation mark, there is no new line character added like print line. So those two are on the same line now. We can also write multiple lines of print statements in our program. So let's write system.out.println line 2 and make sure to add the semicolon at the end. And if I run this program, we'll actually only get one line of output. That is because our first line in our program, print, is not going to add a new line after this. So this is going to be on the same line as line 2, as we can see in the output right here. If we want to make it so that we have two lines of output, we want to write print line on both lines. So here, if I run this program, we'll get hello world on one line and line 2 on the other. Now, let's practice what we have just learned about print statements by displaying a short introduction about yourself onto the screen. And try to use a combination of both statements. So pause the video for a few moments and try to write this program out yourself. And assuming you have tried that, here is an example solution to what we have. So system.out.print hello and system.out.println, this is a sample introduction written in Java. Take a guess on whether this is going to output one line or two lines of output when we run the program. If you said one line, that is correct because print is going to keep the cursor on the same line when we print out the second line. So it's going to print out hello, and then immediately this is a sample introduction written in Java. Let me actually copy this code and paste it onto lines 3 and 4 in our program. And now if I run this program, we will see that we get one line of output, hello, this is a sample introduction written in Java. To summarize today's lesson, good job, you have successfully written in Java. And this is your first program, so that your code may seem somewhat primitive and simple right now. So rest assured that our programs will become increasingly complex and useful as we learn more about programming in Java. And that's it for the first video in the Java Basics course. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you learned something today, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to the Future Programmer YouTube channel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video.